Don't fade me, bro. This is the WeWin Sports Podcast.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the WeWin Sports Podcast, NFL Playoffs Edition. First off, I'm proud to announce and happy to announce that I signed an endorsement deal with Bet Rivers. Hello, Bet Rivers. A U.S.-based...
Nice job, Phil.
Thank you. Thank you, Cantu. A U.S.-based online casino listed on the New York Stock Exchange as Rush Street Interactive. Rush Street Interactive, Bet Rivers, has a market cap of $3 billion. We are in 16 states, Canada, and Latin America, including Mexico, Colombia, and Peru, where we are showing a lot of growth in Latin America. This is not investment advice. Today, we'll give our 30-second rants, then we'll give our pick of the weeks. David Woodley's basically a professional sports bettor. Woodley, with great knowledge and sharp takes, had the best record of any of us. Cantu has some well-thought-out takes. He's still upset about his 10-7 Seahawks, but we covered that last time. Mike the Mouth knows sports and studies the NFL. He's been a little icy, but he spends his time.
Four in a row on the podcast, boys.
Ooh.
Cantu. First, guys, everybody shut up and let's just run this video from your grandmother, and then afterwards you can tell us about this, Cantu.
Grandma, sorry about last time, because I had to cut it short because...
Oh, no.
No, I got to apologize because finally we're getting to check out the new Costco. It was my friend Mike. He said he kind of lied and said he had to take his cats to the vet. And I found out he was lying, so I had to do my podcast. Yeah. What do you think of the brand new Costco?
Well, I like the old one.
I like the old one better, huh?
Well, because I'm familiar with everything. I got to get my list.
Okay. Well, let's work on that list.
All right. So Grandma gives me a call. It's been 5 days, and I told her I'd take her, or I have a deal in place, and I take Grandma for all of her chores every 2 weeks. Well, last week, because we had the podcast, Mike told a fib that didn't actually happen. He said he had to take his cats to the vet at a certain time. Well, he cut my grandma's trip short, and she was so excited about the brand new Costco. She was like,
The new Costco!
Like, she moved to this town in the 60s when there was under 100 people in the small town of Ridgefield, Washington. Now they're getting a Costco. This is major. She doesn't have to go all the way across town. She is pumped to go check it out, and it really ruined her day. So she calls me, and she's like, Brandon, is there any way? I know it's only been 5 days. Could you please take me to the new Costco? I say, Grandma, sure. I'll be over there in an hour. So I take her over. She's just floating, and Grandma moves. For 92, she moves, as you can kind of...
92, man. I saw the video.
And she's funny, too. She's moving on the cart, and she's telling me all the things she likes and doesn't like about the Costco. And she was in such a good mood. But after all of it, she's like, I like the old Costco better. I'm telling you, I think everything was in the exact same place because I take her like every couple of weeks. To me, it felt like it's the exact same square footage as the one across town, but she said it's all messed up. She couldn't find anything. So that was the upset. Anyways, Mike, Graham forgave you. She wasn't.
Mike, you're forgiven. And Mike, give us your rant, Mike. By the way, that was great stuff. 92-year-old grandma going through a Costco. And by the way, she's been to the other Costco for 30 years. Of course she doesn't like the new place,
So I fucking bet on Friday, and I had Texas for +6, and they had first to goal at the fucking 1, and they somehow didn't score from the 1, and I was so tilted. And so then I bet with the squares on the Chargers on the first game of game 2, and I knew it was square because every square was on the Chargers and all the sharps were on Houston. And so now I bet the Chargers second half under 20. It was 3-0 with 30 seconds to go when fucking Herbert's fucking piece of shit ass threw a pick 6, then another pick 3, then another pick 6, and fucking I lose that. Now I'm fucking tilted out of my fucking mind. And this is the reason why I quit sports betting, because I always went on tilt. And so then, as you know, my Ravens were my top pick. Right? But now I just lost the Texas game. I just lost the fucking Chargers. I just lost this fucking total. All I'm doing is fucking losing. And then Woodley calls me up. Hey, Mike, you want the Pittsburgh Steelers? I'm like, no, I told you the Ravens are my top bet. And he's like, are you sure? And I said, fuck it. I'll take the Steelers. I can't pick a winner. I end up betting $1,000 with him, $2,000 on the Steelers, $1,000 parlay Steelers and under, and then I tilt off $4,000 on the opposite side of the game that I wanted, right? So now I'm down like 7,000 on fucking 2 games I should have won and a fucking flip on a game that I had picked as a winner. So then what do I fucking do? I said, fuck it, I ain't betting the rest of the weekend. And what do I do the rest of the weekend? 5-0. Fuck you. Fuck.
I only remember, folks, go back to the last episode, and Mike says, now, guys, my top pick, I'm laying a lot of points, but I'm sure the Ravens are going to win. I almost dropped my phone when I saw that he bet the other side. I said, he gave and he had the right side. I don't know what.
And Denver was my number 2 pick, right? And they only won by 30. But all the fucking sharps who were on Houston, right? And they were dead right? And then they moved this fucking Pittsburgh game from 10 down to 8.5 at kickoff. So the Sharps pounded them, and they also pounded Denver all the way from 9.5 to 7.5, right? But the Sharps have been wrong all fucking year, which is why I fucking have been buried all fucking year. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable that I literally, after the Texas ridiculous bad beat and the Chargers under second half ridiculous bad beat, that I just reel off. Actually, with totals, it was 7-0, but like in reality, it would have been 5 picks. And like I was like preaching.
Mike. There's a song by Huey Lewis and the News. Da 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 da. It's hip to be square, and apparently us squares have done really well. Woodley, do you have a rant for us, or are we going to Cantu for the rant?
Oh, he has a rant.
No, I mean,
Woodley, wait. Before you start, can I just? Let me make the proper introduction.
Where's your Sam Darnold rant?
Let me make the proper introduction.
It's coming. I mean, I haven't even gotten started.
Woodley flew to Phoenix, Arizona to watch this game. I have so much respect for that. I didn't think he wanted to go to L.A. when the game got switched. So much respect. He is a Minnesota, like the most Minnesota guy on the planet Earth. He flew there. He watched the game. And I don't want to tell you the obscenities he let loose in our text stream. But, unfortunately... I like the Rams, but after listening to him last week on the podcast, I switched sides and went on the Vikings. And so I did what Mike did, maybe. I switched, but I told the podcast I like the Minnesota Vikings. I finally bought in on the Vikings, and Woodley dragged me down. He dragged Mike down. He dragged Cantu. No, Cantu actually stuck on his Rams
That was my number 2 pick. I stuck with it.
So Woodley, I'm going to give you the stage. Mike, don't talk over Woodley. We got to give him his full thoughts because this guy flew to Phoenix and now he's tired.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's the same. It's really funny because now all of a sudden after this game, like the whole country is like, they just now realize like what the Vikings have gone through, right? Like they threw up that stat at the end of the game that said like of all the major 4 sports teams, the Vikings started playing in 1961. They're the only team that's been playing that long without a championship. They now have the most playoff losses in NFL history, which is just an incredible stat, right? When you're thinking of single elimination, that means they've made a shitload of playoffs and like never won a Super Bowl. I mean, I think they're like number 4 overall for playoff appearances, right? I mean, this is a very successful franchise. This season is just like the epitome of rooting for them. I mean, they go 14-3, well, 14-4, they go 14-3 in the regular season, and then they get completely, everything is here. I mean, dude, Darnold's here. The Vikings are here. The coach of the year is here. And then in just 9 days, it all implodes. Like, Darnold cost himself at least $80 million, maybe $100 million.
More. More.
Man.
He was going to get 50 a year.
Suddenly the coach of the year.
He lost like
suddenly the coach of the year
million.
can't coach. There is zero
Minnesota's running the ball down all those points with 7 minutes. What is
the coach? I could go on and I could go for an hour about the coaching. Like, it's disappointing, but it's just the classic Vikings year. Like, they overachieve. They lose to 2 teams all year, and they beat everybody else, right? They beat 14 teams. They lose to 2 teams. They get embarrassed. But it was just, this was a shameful showing. I mean, that place was like, I thought it'd be like 55-60% Vikings. That was like, now you couldn't really tell on the broadcast because they were getting their ass kicked the whole time, but it was like 75% Vikings fans that flew in from all across the world. or
called it.
country to get down there. And we show up, and
Nothing
they
to
go
cheer
out and they
for.
lay that
Nothing.
egg, and they
Nothing.
had no heart. They gave up. Like there was this
No, they
point in the
quit.
third quarter. In the third quarter, I think they were still only down like 18, right? Like they just stop them in 3 outs. Like, okay, this is it. Zero margin fair. They get the ball with 2 minutes and like 20 seconds left. And then all of a sudden, they're on like the
They run it 3 out of
line.
4 times.
They're on the 8-yard line, and somehow they run it like 3 times, and then they let the clock expire. And I looked at my dad. I'm like, okay, they just waste. Okay, they had 17 minutes left.
Wait,
in this
your
game.
dad was at the game with you?
Yeah, my parents both flew in. So it's my dad and I have been to 3 playoff games together. The Vikings have been favored each one of them. They got their shit kicked out of them every 3 times. And I look at them and I'm like, they've given up. I'm like, they're only down 18 points.
Woodley,
there's
good
15
on you
minutes
for
left.
flying your parents to the game, man. I don't know,
Hey,
more respect.
How about when they run the ball, I think, and now there's 30 seconds left in the third quarter.
And they didn't get
right?
no playoff, yeah.
And they don't even rush to get another playoff. Like they're acting like what? Why are you wasting that 30
I'll never
seconds? You
get
have
it.
all day long to get another playoff.
And it's
down
4th
18.
and
Never
21?
understand
4th and 21? And you punt?
You can't punt.
Darnold, I mean, it's incredible. Like they broke a record
Throw
for
the ball,
sacks.
get a pass interference. Take
Well,
a
how
chance.
does he take a sack? They're in field
You
goal
got
range to make it
Jefferson.
15.
Throw
You know
the
what's-
ball.
No, it wasn't Jefferson on that play. They've re-showed that play. Addison had juked the guy and was
No,
wide
I'm
open.
saying when
was
it's
like an easy
4th and
touchdown.
21, throw the
yeah.
ball.
Oh,
No,
yeah, no, I
you
mean,
just
there's
throw it
it's
up.
just-
Hope you get a fucking
they-
PI or something.
Happens all the
They
time.
knew Darnold. I made the mistake of heading into that game. Everyone's like, "Are you nervous about Darnold?" But I was like, "Nah, I think that was like his bad game. Like pros have bad games." I actually thought if you're like an NFL caliber quarterback and you won 14 games, I actually think that if you're a professional, like the pressure of a first round game shouldn't get to you that bad. But I was wrong. Like, dude, Darnold is like, you cannot. Nothing against him.
He
It was
looked
like a
like a
fun
rookie.
season. I don't ever want to see him on a Viking. He's never going to be a Viking again. I would never. Like he's the best free agent quarterback, which is all you need to know about like the crap that is on the free agent market. But that you cannot trust this guy. I mean, 9 sacks.
You talk
6
about a
of those
striking scene, Woodley. It was 2 weeks ago where they showed
6 were
that
on him.
video in the locker room
Yeah.
of Darnold. And you
put
were
him on
like,
his shoulder.
Darnold's, and you were texting us, Darnold's the best quarterback in the league,
ever
all this
since
bullshit
then,
that none of us
ever
agreed
since
with.
Then, it all
Well,
that conversation.
We thought the Packers were a good team, but then they lost to the Bears, who had lost 11 in a row.
Woodley, I got to
then-
ask you another question.
He broke a record this year, though. He had 13 games. It's an NFL record. 13 games with 100 pass rating and higher. Like this isn't just me. Like Darnold, like the stats, every stat proves that he was amazing. But then he goes from here to here, and it's like the
Yeah,
ultimate
but
Vikings
Mike and
experience.
Cantu and I didn't believe he was that good. We would have all drafted
Well,
Love. I'm
again-
going to ask you that question right now. Who would you draft right now, Woodley? Love or Darnold?
I would tell you which guy I would rather. So
Just give
obviously
us an
Love-
answer, Woodley.
No, let me tell you. Obviously,
'Cause I
Love
have
has
one for
more
Cantu,
upside.
too.
He has more upside moving forward. But what I will say though is, if I had to go with a quarterback for 2025 season, taking in contract, everything else there, I'd rather give Darnold like 1 year, like 15 million, than I honestly would for Jordan Love and his 55
That's not the
million a year.
question.
He's not gonna. He'll get more than 15.
I just told you. I said I would take Love. I would take Love. But this gets into another point. The other rant I have here too is this weekend proved something that I've been always saying, which is like I don't think you should ever give massive dollars to an NFL quarterback unless you know they can take you to a Super Bowl.
agree.
And like all these guys that
Agree.
are good. All right. Like I'm not saying like Love shouldn't be in the league. I'm not saying Herbert shouldn't be in the league. Darnold fell on his face. At least the Vikings are getting rid of him. Love looks
terrible.
Everybody
Herbert looked terrible.
Everybody looked terrible.
Listen,
except
Hurts.
Josh Allen.
Listen,
Like,
Hurts won, and Hurts. I don't think Hurts is that great, but Hurts played the game of his life, the one Super Bowl he made. So like Hurts gets a massive
I
pass
agree.
on this. But Herbert Love, like, what do you do there? Like, and that's the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm so glad the Vikings aren't signing Darnold. And if I'm a team that has a quarterback like I throw Dak Prescott into that same conversation.
Dak's
like,
overpaid.
Throw all these
I
other
mean,
guys in there.
overpaid.
But see, I think in reality, like Herbert he lost all his weapons. Like they were
Yeah.
not even supposed to go anywhere this year. And where I agree with Woodley, like this is a 10-year plan with fucking the coach. Okay, like they know they have no weapons this year. McConkley, the rookie, played great, but like they're gonna get some weapons. And I'm telling you, Herbert's a lot. I think he's gonna.
I have to bring
he's
up,
gonna
four
I
learn
have
from
to bring up
interceptions.
one play real
Four
quick
interceptions
that in the
is bad.
Vikings game that like I felt so awful because I just knew it cost them the game. It's the play where they do the sack what the announcers like fumble, the referees confirm fumble, the Vikings scoop it up, score the touchdown. I'm like, oh, here we go, Vikings. I was in my heart rooting, even though my money was on the other side. I was rooting for the Vikings in a weird way.
Me too. Well, Woodley's so passionate.
Let me finish 1 second.
Good, Cantu, but Woodley's red pilled us. No, Woodley's purple pilled us, Cantu. Go ahead.
Purple pill.
Anyways, so he scoops it.
I'm the red pillar.
Scoops it, and I'm like, oh, that's good. And I swear, maybe I misheard that the announcers. I even think I heard the announcers on the TV broadcast. Our whole group chat's like, oh, way to go, Woodley. Like, everybody's cheering him on. And then I swear they confirmed it on the national broadcast. Confirmed touchdown. They come out, because Woodley couldn't see this part. They come out, they're like, oh, it's coming back. Did it feel like that?
Well, it was an incomplete. It was an incomplete pass, but it should have been grounding.
How
they don't call grounding?
They said it was confirmed from upstairs, so I'm like, oh, go.
It took a long time, but once they started looking, everybody's going nuts. Everybody's going nuts there, and I had this sinking feeling. I'm like, they're gonna overturn this somehow. And then when they didn't call grounding, I like lost it. I was like, that's it.
On TV, that's a touchdown
they
confirmed it, Woodley. To the national viewers, we thought it was a touchdown.
They did. The referee just said, put his hand in the air, touchdown, and I'm thinking to myself,
that was a really bad beat, Woodley, because the whole game did seem to flip on that. Woodley, you have purple pilled us. You really have. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We talk about the Vikings more than any other team. We know that you're ready to do bodily harm to yourself if the Vikings don't win. So we're all like, "Go Vikings, go!"
No, I get over it. I get over it quick. I mean, listen, we were dejected. We go to like a bar, we eat some tacos, and by the end, we're like, "Yeah, this is our life." The thing I'll say though is like,
it was a good thing your dad and mom were there to calm you down.
I'm fine. I don't like when I'm texting. I don't do that in public. I'm not like a Philly fan, right? It's fine. I'm like, I keep it in, right? It's very good. Like like there was Rams fans behind me who were like talking and like laughing and stuff. It's fine. I've never gotten close to like yelling at another fan because I'm not a Philly fan. But the thing I'll say though, I'll wrap this up is the Vikings have let me down my entire life, right? And I talked about this before, like 4 years ago, I almost died, and like the whole like life flashing before your eyes thing is like very real. And I remember like vividly like what I saw, right? Like my first son being born, he was only 9 months, like my wife, memories there. Like I actually remember going to the Twins game in '91, like Game 7. There's nothing, there's no fucking Vikings moments in the lives flashing before my eyes. So I really just need these bastards to at least like make a Super Bowl one time.
To be fair, like, people don't know, Woodley, that you had a series of, what was it? You were in the hospital. They didn't think you were going to live.
Yeah, it was like a massive stroke, brain explosion thing. But
you were having brain explosion after brain explosion. No one thought you were going to live. And so I know that was like, that, and I think that gave you, when you came to pitch me on the company to invest and you made me a bunch of money because we then sold that company. I immediately liked you because you seem to have a lot of wisdom. Like you've been, through like almost dying. You seem to have a lot to wisdom.
I want to give me a memory. Give me a memory. Like I
want to comment on something here, you guys, and I want you guys to address what I'm about to say. If you guys somewhat agree with this,
Mike, or else switch subject on you. Go ahead, take a chance.
So this year, going into the season, the lowest win total were the Patriots at 4.5 wins. They had a record 8 teams finished with 4 wins or less. That means that a lot of teams that are very average won a lot of games, okay?
Good point.
I put Green Bay into this category. I put Minnesota into this category. I put Seattle into this category. I put Houston into this category. Like, there's like a lot of very, very not very good teams, but they were average playing so many bad teams. You had so many 11, 12-win teams that just didn't really play high competition.
I have a theory about this.
And I want to know what your guys' opinion on some of these 10, 11, 12-win teams that just shit the bed against really top competition.
I have a big theory about this. In the last few years, the NFL salary cap has been raised so high that it used to just be, you got a good quarterback, not great, good quarterback, just give them the max. Some of the owners are still, and GMs are still stuck in this way that you got Dak Prescott, you got to give him 60, 65 million a year. You cannot win. Now you can't just give these like 9th best quarterbacks, 13th best quarterbacks the max. You got to sit there and really negotiate these quarterbacks hard, get them down to 43 million, maybe get Dak at 40, somewhere right in there, because you really have to pay people what is right now. So now the teams with the best GMs and the best head coaches, it's led to them being able to be better at all of football. That's my theory.
Well, here, like the Chargers, right? The Chargers were 2-6 on the season against winning teams, and the only two wins they had against winning team was the Denver Broncos. Now, Denver was like 1-8 against winning teams, right? And so, and it showed against the Bills. It showed how bad the Chargers really were against winning teams. Like Houston really kicked the shit out of them, right? And like Houston, didn't beat any winning teams this year. You know,
Mike, I tell you what, I like Cantu's theory on this, and this subject's a little bit deep for us to cover. Yeah. So I'm going to switch directions on you. I like this though, and I think your points are right. I'm going to come to Cantu, and I'm going to say, Cantu, you deserve to have the crap beat out of you on air.
Hold on,
for your defense of
Russell Wilson, and then you can do it. Let me do my rant first. There's nothing that bothers me more than Steelers fans reading Steelers Twitter, how just fucking clueless they are. The only player that played a good game was Russell Wilson. He had arguably the second or third, maybe fourth best week of all the quarterbacks. And all you should need out of Russ is a middle of the road 21.
Dude,
let me finish, Mike, let me finish. 21 of 29, 270, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He only took 2 or 3 sacks. He did his job. Let me finish.
The first half.
Mike.
What a fuck.
Mike, let me finish. Here's who to blame. It's Mike Tomlin, who pulls Wilson like 6 plays right when he heats up. He just sits there and yanks him. You can't get in a rhythm that way. Here's when we knew it was all dead. The first play out of the game, Russell Wilson goes back to pass. He throws to Freiermuth. The most perfect pass. Freiermuth looked like that in the movie Little Giants. Goes like this, bounces off the chest, 5 yards forward. He goes for 15 yards. We're in an instant rhythm. He played as good as you could have played with having a pussy coach like Mike Tomlin. Now, Mike Tomlin, he's gonna.
Oh, you mean down 21-0? He played good. Okay.
Mike Tomlin is for the rest of his life is going to be 10-7, 9-8. So you will have a first round exit for the rest of your life.
Okay, Cantu, listen.
Russell Wilson played good.
That's your rant.
And the defense was terrible. The defense was atrocious.
Okay,
they
Cantu.
can't stop a nosebleed.
I agree.
I'm so glad.
Okay, Cantu, hold on. Woodley,
it.
we have to frame it right. If we're going to beat the crap out of Cantu, we got to get it on record.
Are you showing the first half stats? 4 of 8 for like 40 yards?
No,
I want to ask him some very simple
hold on, Woodley. Let me get
completions. It was Mike Tomlin. If he punt on 4th, and my dick is longer than what they punted on at their own 35. It was like 4th and
Cantu, you're doing all the talking. One question. You told us you thought that Russell Wilson was the 17th best quarterback in the league last week. Do you stand by it?
Maybe even a little bit better. I think he might have been better.
Okay, hold on. How much better? 14th?
Yeah, something like that. There's a really good bunch of quarterbacks. 14th.
So Russell Wilson, who lost the last 5 games at
he
Pittsburgh.
didn't lose them. The receivers can't catch the ball. George Pickens.
So it was all the receivers'
George Pickens
fault.
had 3 drops on 6 targets, 1 catch for 0 yards. When you can't catch the ball,
Woodley wants to prime in. Go ahead, Woodley.
So you just said that Wilson had the 3rd or 2nd best weekend of all quarterbacks. Okay, so I'm gonna list off quarterbacks, and then you tell me if Russell Wilson was better than them this weekend. All right, I'll give you a couple easy ones. Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's a real interesting one.
No, yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes or no?
He was 16 of 20 for 175. But the Ravens ran the ball. They didn't even pass the ball in the game. So I guess.
Okay, yes or no?
It was the same. It was the same.
Yes or no?
It was the same.
Same. Okay, equal. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen was for sure. He was the best quarterback of the week. No, hands down.
Jaden Daniels.
That one's close. It was close. What
my
was Jaden Daniels?
God.
220 yards passing. Like an average day. What was it, 220?
He was like 23 of 28
No,
for
he was like 20 of 29. It was like
and
real
he
close
fucking
to
won his
Russ's,
game
but
on the
like
road in
50
his
less
first ever
yards or
playoff
something.
game. But okay, he says Wilson's better. All right. CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud was terrible. I mean, what do you have, 170 yards passing? Yeah, but when you pick off Herbert 4 times and you start in the red zone every play, like...
Dude, he had the best game since like week 5. He played out of his mind in the
Matt
fucking...
Matt Stafford.
He definitely had a better game than Matt Stafford. He didn't have, but again, Matt Stafford didn't have to do much.
Stafford was unbelievable.
You guys-
He played like fucking.
When the defense,
What are you
when the defense
watching?
can't stop anybody, you can't blame that on the quarterback.
Ladies, folks, don't let your kids do drugs.
Okay, there you go. Matt Stafford.
Long-term,
Listen to this.
long-term
19 of 27. Here's
issues.
Stafford for 209 yards. Or you could be 20 of 29 for 270. You guys are idiots. If you think that's a better game, why don't we put that
Stafford-
on the poll and see if anyone agrees with you that
Wait.
What are you
No, wait.
talking
You
about?
called us
you're
idiots, so I'm just
19 of
curious.
27,
No, let me.
209, 2 and 0.
Good.
Well, let me. No, but
He
Cantu,
was like
Cantu,
3 of 9 in the second half. They ran
Cantu,
the ball
I gotta
the
ask
second
you a
half.
question. Did when they opened up the offense and Russell started
They did
throwing the
great.
ball, he got all those yards when they were already dead?
Yeah, exactly.
What did
They
he
were
do
dead.
when the game
That
was
is-
live?
that's Tomlin's game plan. When you only pass the ball 6 times, you want Tomlin?
I can't take it. I really can't
That's
take
on
it.
Tomlin.
Okay.
we can't.
What,
we
what
can't
did
waste
Stafford
any more
do
time.
against the Vikings in the first half? He carved them up to shreds.
We
He
can't
was
waste any more
he was
time
like
on this,
16
guys.
of 19 for 2 touchdowns.
No.
Let's go
I
to the-
find Mike. There's times where I argue with you, and I say 1 + 1 is 2, and you
So-
say no
so why don't
over
we
and
ask
over
you,
again.
Phil?
It's not even
Phil,
fun.
let's ask you.
It's not even
did
fun
Russell
anymore.
Wilson have a bad game? 20 or 21 of 29 for
Yeah.
270, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Is that a bad game?
I don't think he had a great game, but yeah, if you look at the numbers, he looked pretty
Second
good. That's
highest-
not what I'm
second highest
arguing.
Yards of the week.
That's not
No
what I'm
picks,
arguing, Cantu.
no fumbles.
That's not what I'm arguing.
all
I'm
of his
arguing,
yards and completions were when the game was
you
over.
said he's the 14th best quarterback in the
Yeah.
league. That's what you
Yeah.
said. Well, we all think you're crazy.
Okay.
So that's okay. That's so I try to choose a point that we
For the 14th best quarterback in the league, he will have 0 starting job next year.
So every
Congratulations.
if we're idiots, then
he's
then every
the 14th
GM in the
best-
NFL must
he's
be
got
idiots
things
too.
working.
Every
He's
GM
got
must be an
things working
idiot.
against him. He's 37.
we have to move on. We have to move on. It's
Cantu, I know you're good for like $1,000 eventually. I will bet you $1,000 that Russell Wilson is not a starting quarterback next year.
At any
did this
point, you
this
got
year.
it. At any point,
No. Just start the season
well,
on any team.
I'm not going to take that, but it's close.
Cantu has a 20% chance on
But he's
this
the
one.
14th best quarterback.
But he's
so,
about
I mean,
to be
there's
37, and he's got age working against him.
If he really was the 14th best quarterback, he would be starting next year. We all know that to be
Yeah, but
true.
he's
Correct,
got a lot
right?
of
Rodgers
injuries.
is 42.
Yeah.
Rodgers is
and
42.
I will make another bet that Rodgers is not going to retire and he will be a starting quarterback next year.
I don't want that.
I don't want
He's
that.
too hard to predict.
Both
I
those,
think
both
he's going
those
to be on the
are
Raiders. I
really
think Mike
hard
nailed
old
it.
quarterbacks.
Okay, now we beat the crap out of unreasonable Cantu. Now let's talk to unreasonable Woodley about Darnold. Actually, we already did that. So
Yeah,
I think
we
it's
did.
time to go into our
Yep.
picks.
Correct.
And so, Mikey, I'm going to let you start off with your
Hold on,
pick
Phil,
of the
I
week.
got an idea. I think we should
Okay.
start. This is up to you guys. I think we should start with
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon, go Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night. Let's go in order
Okay.
of what we're going to see.
Okay, so
Texans, Chiefs.
whose number one pick is Saturday?
Okay,
Mine,
so
Chiefs. Chiefs, my
Okay.
number
Chiefs.
one.
Okay, good.
now
Woodley,
on,
go. What's the line, Woodley?
8.5.
It doesn't
It's
matter.
minus
I think it was
8.5. It's minus 8.5, and I'm going to agree. Woodley,
I see
Woodley,
8.5,
The Chiefs
yeah.
are my number one pick as well, so I'll let you lead off. But
So I mean, I give Houston a lot of credit. I don't think they're as bad as Mike has been saying they were all year. They played really good. I mean, listen,
the defense has
Stroud,
been good all
A
year.
lot of
Well-
turnovers too, Woodley.
still, but the defense played
That's the
great.
defense, yeah.
But 4 interceptions. It's good. Stroud played well, right? So for all the crap that we gave Stroud all year, the thing is he came alive in the playoffs, and playoffs where it's matter. Like he's like the anti-Herbert, he's the anti-Darnold, he's the anti-Love. Where like these guys did a bunch of stuff in the regular season.
Oh, he played
Nobody
great.
cares. Nobody cares. They fell on their face. It's all about the playoffs. So now Stroud in 2 years has won 2 playoff games, right? He's 2-1. Like he's a perfectly good guy. The problem here though isn't the Texans. Like good for the Texans. The Chiefs, like they've just been going through the motions all year. I mean, listen, all year they've heard about, oh, they're luckiest team ever, point differential, like they're cooked, no receivers. They're going to come out and absolutely shut up all the haters. Because the thing is, they have to come out, no matter what, that next week's game, the Chiefs are winning this, right? Like the Texans are not
I
winning
agree.
this. But the Chiefs they're not looking forward, but they know we got to get in there. We got to take care of business, and we got to like start thinking about the Ravens or the Bills as soon as possible. It's in Arrowhead. It's going to be loud. It's going to be cold. All the motivation in the world. The Chiefs are going to win by a lot. I'm actually surprised it's only 8.5. And in my opinion, like we'll talk about Detroit in a second, but like I think these lines are mixed, right? Like give me the Chiefs. Who has a better chance of blowing someone out? The Chiefs over the Texans or the Lions over the Commanders? And for me, it's like completely no brainer. So Chiefs by a million.
You know, I agree with you, Woodley, but I'm going to throw a little caveat in here.
Caveat.
I think this is the longest any team has ever in the history of the NFL been off of a game. It'll be 22 days. Okay. What struggles the most when you take time off? It's the offense. Okay. Their defense is going to be great. Okay. I like Houston first half and the under first half. And I think no, but I'm just telling you what I'm trying to say is you're laying 8.5.
I like Harrison Butker over 2.5 field goals.
And I think this game at halftime is going to be like 6-3. Okay. Now, could they come out second half and blow them out? I think that Kansas City will. Okay. But when you're laying 8.5 and all of a sudden your offense is not clicking, and you're in like a 6-3, 6-6 type game at halftime, you know, you never know. That's all. I don't think Houston has any chance of winning this game. I side with you a lot on this, Woodley, but one of my best picks of the week is the first half on the Texans.
All right.
Let me just say this real quick. Every week, Mike comes on this podcast and calls C.J. Stroud the worst quarterback ever. The Texans the worst team ever. And now they're going up against the back-to-back reigning NFL champions. Right. And just like he did with the Steelers, he all of a sudden loves the team.
No, I don't. I told you. I think Kansas City wins, and I think they win big. But I'm just saying, like anybody that doesn't think that the under first half or the Houston +5
Mike,
first
stop.
half.
Cantu go. Cantu go.
I'll make some sense of this for you guys because everybody's a little like confused. CJ Stroud played, you know what? He played a fine game. There was nothing wrong. That will not cut it this week. He has to be for the Texans to win this game. He has to be the very best quarterback. We have to come back and say CJ Stroud looked like an MVP. He's not going to be able to do that. He might be able to be a top 3-4. He has to be
not
the best.
Him. It's
he
must
his
be offensive
the best.
line.
And here's why he's not going to do it. Now the Chiefs have sit there. Andy Reid goes to at least the AFC or NFC Championship every single year. It feels like. What does he do? He doesn't ever. He's kind of like Belichick. They don't show a lot in the regular season. He's been hiding all. You're going to see an offense when they come onto the field. You have not seen any of the plays they're going to run, and if you do, it's only their best plays. You're going to see defensive schemes that they haven't been using all year. They are going to be ready. They're going to be out coached. They are going to be so well prepared. I think Kansas City wins big. If you want an alternate bet, I like Chiefs to win by 25+, and you can get a lot. I don't know what it pays, but I'm going to look after this because that's what I like.
No, I like them also.
I love the Chiefs. And by the way, Mike, I don't really buy your theory. Will the offense be a little rusty? It's Patrick Mahomes, bro. It's Mahomes. It's Pacheco.
Yeah, how was Hurts last week? Were they rusty? He hadn't played in 3 weeks.
You're trying to compare Hurts to Mahomes.
Yeah,
let's talk about that later.
Cleared.
Let's have that discussion later. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, and he hasn't really had to show it
really,
this year.
Phil, you think so? Really? I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad you.
Well, you just compared him to Hurts.
No, I'm just trying to say when your team. There's never been a team ever go 22 days without playing a fucking football game.
Really? That's a good.
Mike,
by the way, that's a good stat, Mike.
All right, say it again.
There's never been a team in the history of the NFL go 22 games, 22 days without playing a football game.
Okay. And I think they're going to be rested. People are going to be healthy. And I think that the running game is going to be phenomenal. They're going to do these weird little screens to the left, these weird little screens to the right, all of these schemes, all of this coaching. And I think they are going to kill them. So yes, I love them. So Mike, are you saying you lay the 8.5 or you take Houston?
I like Kansas City, but I'm just saying be prepared for a very close game at halftime.
Danny, Mike managed to play both sides of the fence.
Not really.
All right, so later, just in case something weird happens, he has himself covered. Whatever. It's a consensus.
I didn't
pick,
play
Danny.
both sides of the fence. I said I like Kansas City to lay the 8.5. Okay. But I also say
now Washington, Detroit. Mike, I'm going to go to you first. Who do you like? By the way, the line is 9.
It's 9.5 now. Okay, it's gone from 8.5 to 9.5. And here's what I mean. you guys, since we only have a certain amount of games, my number one pick of the week is the over 55.5. I don't care if you like it or not. The reason why I'm going with a
Mark
total.
that, Danny.
The reason why I'm going with a total this week is Washington has the worst run defense in the NFL. Okay, it's why the Bucs only threw the ball 18 times last week, and Bucky Irving ran them like crazy on them. Okay, all the teams with big running games have ran the ball crazy on them. This is the Detroit has the best running game in the league. They're going to score 40. I mean, they will score 40. Now you have to ask yourself, okay. The fucking Detroit defense is not whole. They're still missing. They're getting 3 people back, starters back, out of the 7. They're still missing 10 or 11 defensive players. The kid is unbelievable. And Detroit against the rush has been terrible since all these people went out. And if they try and attack the quarterback like they did against the Vikings, and they're going to be able to run. Daniels is going to be able to run the ball. I think that this is going to be a 41 to 34 to 35 game. I just think that, Washington might have a chance they're going to be in this game. They could score. This game is I know I said it in the Darnold game 2 weeks ago that I liked the over because I really thought there's no way Detroit's defense could shut down the Viking offense. But, if you get to the quarterback, you can. They are not going to be able to get to Daniels. No fucking way. My number one pick is the over 55.5.
Okay, Danny, mark that. Cantu, what do you think?
Did you not pick a side? You didn't pick a side?
No,
Okay.
just a total.
Okay, thank you, Mike. The viewers are going to love that one. Bonus pick. On this, usually I know why, and I have conviction for why I make a pick in my head. This is kind of one of those weird times where I don't quite know why I like Washington plus 9.5. I just like Washington plus 9.5. I feel like this is going to be, Dan Campbell's got away with all of his like crazy antics, 4th and 6, 4th and 4, 4th and 7, 4th and 2. They get every single one. You can't continue to be that lucky every single time. Now, maybe you're 60% to get a lot of these, but you can't get them every single time all year. Not once have they been stopped on a big 4th down that I can personally remember. And there has been, it just seems infinite. I mean, I know it's not that high, but a lot of them. This time, I think their luck runs out. And when it runs out, it's going to be, you're going to watch the world come down on Dan Campbell that he's a fucking idiot because I actually like when he normally goes, sometimes he's a little too far outside the box for me, but I like it when he's aggressive, but the purists hate him. This is going to get all the looky-loos coming in and the dogs are going to come out. Everybody's going to attack him and the pressure is going to be on once they miss that 4th and 5 at the 30-yard line when they're going for it, and Jane Daniels is going to make them pay. That's my main thing. I don't know why, but I even think Washington wins this game. And there's my bonus pick. I think it's Washington plus 450.
Just like the other 3 times. Hold on, Mikey. No. Just like the other 3 times on this podcast, Cantu, last week you said you really should bet Pittsburgh. Way wrong. 3 times you said to bet the massive underdog. You're 0-3.
450.
Woodley, what do you make of this game?
What do you guys? How about? Don't we usually comment on somebody's number one pick? My number one pick is over 55.5. Why don't you guys comment on what my thought process?
Well, I don't. We pick sides on this. We don't pick over. Like
let them have it. I mean, come on, Woodley, have some fun. You're flexible.
On that, I don't know. I mean,
back-to-back totals.
It'll be a lot. They'll score a lot of points. They they're not gonna like. Okay, here it is, and I'll answer that as part of mine. I kind of like the Commanders, and the reason why I like your over is Jaden Daniels last week, he had a game. Washington didn't punt once. They didn't have a single turnover.
Correct.
That was the 3rd time this year that Jaden Daniels has done that.
Never been done.
So he's not done it 3 times a year. Never been done.
One player in history has ever done that?
No turnovers, too.
Mahomes and Manning have done that 3 times in their whole career.
Yes.
All right.
He's done it 3 times this year.
Washington moves the ball. And they're going for it on 4th and they're not getting it, but they're not going for it on their own 20, right? So they're going to score a lot of points.
I agree.
It's too bad that it's just a really bad matchup for the Commanders defense because they can't stop the run, and they're really unlucky that Montgomery's coming back this week as well. So I think there's gonna be a lot of scoring. The only thing I'm going to maybe caution Mike on a bit is, dude, Detroit could maybe run it like 60 times. If that happens, like it may never get to that high total, right? Because they should just be like 6 yards,
but they get like
6 yards,
10 yards,
6 yards.
They gash them, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like what's the worst points that Detroit's put up in like the last 6 weeks? 32 against the Vikings. So like they're going to score 33 points. They average 33 points a game, like the highest since like the greatest show on turf in 2000, right? So like, you know, if they score 33, the Commanders score 24, it goes over.
I like Washington though. I think Washington's gonna score a lot.
I do
of points.
too.
It's gonna be a
fun game.
It's gonna be a bummer.
Mike,
it's gonna be a bummer if it's a blowout.
Mike, I love your over, Mike. I love your over because, I mean, just watching golf and that Detroit, no one can stop them all year. It's crazy.
Especially against the run.
And they take chances, and golf has been so clutch, so clutch. I'd like to know how many times when they really needed a third or a fourth down, when they needed a third or fourth down, how many times he completed a perfect pass. It's really unbelievable. Golf has been so
Gibbs
clutch.
is so good,
it's been
too.
so much fun to watch. I'm a little bit worried that Detroit's defense is going to step up, but they have a ton of injuries, and it won't matter because Jaden is unbelievable. Now, he is a rookie, but I like your over. And as far as the game itself goes, it seems like Cantu's taking the 9.5. Woodley's taking the 9.5. And it's interesting because the pros have moved, as Mike would say, the
Sharps.
sharp money moved that line
From 8.5 to
meaning the
9.5.
sharp money likes Detroit.
I don't. By the way, I don't know. On this case, it's not true. This could be square money moving this. It's Detroit.
Square money doesn't bet early in the week. Square money does
here
not
we
bet
go
early in the
again
week.
with Mike's philosophy of it's
The truth.
It's Wednesday. It's not that early. This isn't just come out.
Buddy, they moved the sharp money, and as soon as the line came out, got moved at 1 point. That's sharp money.
Fezzik and Mike moved it.
This is definitely.
It's a
Mike is not considered sharp money anymore.
What Woodley
If this
one
icicle
thing,
of a year.
Here's the only thing: the sharp money has lost everything for the last 6 weeks. Every game, the only one they won is Houston. That's the only one the sharp money won in fucking like 5 weeks. So you know that's
They
something.
won the
to fall back.
Rams. They won the Rams.
Yeah, they won the Rams. You're right.
I just want to say, guys, while I listened to you guys talking, I went on. If you rewind a little bit, I showed you that I just bet $1,500 on the over. If I were going to bet a team, I would definitely bet Detroit because I think that they're just capable of I just love the energy, but I just don't think I can bet it. I am afraid that, it could be this could be one of those crazy games. Mikey could be right. This could be like a 24-14 at halftime with Washington somehow ahead. And so, and then that's 19.5 points you have to make up. So Washington's offense has been unstoppable. Detroit's offense has been unstoppable.
Mike,
It's how they are
about
against the
this?
run.
I got something I got to announce. Mike, you've talked me into it. I get to think about it for a few minutes. I like the over as well. So we got a consensus pick, a rare consensus total pick.
Thank you.
Everybody likes the over. Okay, guys, so let's move on. Let's move on to someone needs to make a pick for Sunday's game. There's only 4 games.
Sunday and noon game. It is the Rams at the Eagles. The Eagles -6.5. Noon Sunday, Pacific.
Can't believe this line has moved to 6.5. I can't believe it.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to make my pick. It's going to go out of order though, Cantu. I'm going for the Ravens. I think the Ravens, and by the way, the Ravens are a favorite now, -1, right?
1.5. It's up to 1.5 in places. I saw.
Okay, but at mine it's
I say
1,
one.
105, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
Same
matter.
thing.
Mike, it's gonna. We give a little flexibility in our picks when the line's moving. But I love Baltimore. I think watching the Bills all year, they've been unstoppable. They've been great. All of this stuff.
They haven't
But
lost
who
since
has
they
the
lost
best-
to the Ravens. That was in week
Who
4.
has the best rushing defense in the league? Baltimore. Whose defense has gelled completely since they had a bye like 5 weeks ago? Baltimore.
6 weeks ago, yeah.
Who's unstoppable on offense? Baltimore. So I'm gonna go ahead and bet Baltimore. I don't know. I might even be rooting for Josh Allen and the Bills just because they're such a fun team. But I think I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be, unfortunately for Baltimore,
I ain't going with no
No,
blowout.
I
I mean,
don't- I
they
think
beat them.
this game's
They beat
gonna
them
be
30.
tight.
They beat them 35-10 in Baltimore in week 4. Okay, they have not
that's a
lost.
blowout.
They haven't lost since. Okay, the Bills.
That's a blowout.
Correct. And so, like, a friend of mine, Stu, he said mentions when they
Wait, Mike. Who? Just to be very
friend
clear,
of
who won
ours, a friend of
35-10?
ours.
Which team won?
the Ravens. And so he
Right.
said, he comes out and says, am I crazy or something? He goes, how are the Bills not free money at Pick'em? And I said to Stu, because I guess his brain is more shot than mine. I go, I guess you forgot that the Ravens beat them 35-10 in week 4, and it was the only game the Bills, they haven't lost since, And so listen, there's a reason. Where has the Bills struggle against the run? That's why Detroit was able to. Yeah, they beat Detroit 44-42, right? But what happened? Detroit was still able to gash them on the ground. Any team that can run the ball has been able to run the ball
Fake
on
news.
against Detroit.
Danny, can you please flash fake news? Fake news. Let's just go back to the second to the last week. The Bills, or when they're the last week, they lost to the Patriots 23-16. Then let's go back 3 or 4 more weeks.
That doesn't
Then
count. They had
the
you and
Rams.
me.
Be quiet, Mike. You just said they've won out since week 4. Then they lost 44-42 at the Rams, but that was the game of the year. Anyways, then they lost the first week of October to the Texans. They lost 23-20. So they've lost 3 games since then. Well, anyways, go on, Mike.
Okay, let me just say this, guys.
Oh,
I'm
they-
on. Okay, I'm gonna come back with Woodley. Woodley, what do you make of this game?
I like
Mike, you like the Ravens, right, Mike?
I do. I think
Okay.
I go with when the bookmakers open a team that has been unbeatable at Pick'em at home, and then the line, the sharps have already moved it to 1 Ravens.
Yeah.
I mean, I that line I thought was going to open 1 Bills.
Woodley, this was my pick, so I'm just going to say one last thing, and I'm throwing it to you. Okay, I think that the Ravens are another class. Okay, I think the Ravens are
Not
another
offensively.
class.
Maybe their defense has gotten
Agreed.
better.
But I think as a whole, the Ravens as a team are in another class. They're just a step above Baltimore.
I mean, Lamar chokes
What
in the
say you,
playoffs.
Woodley?
I don't know.
well, Mike kind of just took it from me. I'm not a believer in Lamar in the playoffs. He's been in a long time. Prove it. I mean, listen.
Prove it on the road.
They beat a terrible, and I want no rebuttal.
Yeah.
I want no rebuttal from Cantu on this
Agree.
one. They beat a terrible
Terrible.
Steelers team that never had a chance at any given point.
Well,
just
they had
because of that
they had a
offense they're
chance to
playing
cover
with.
though. They had a chance to cover.
It doesn't matter. They never had a chance. It's
Correct. They were never in the
it's-
game.
It's about winning, dude. They're looking to win a Super Bowl. They don't care. The players don't care about
Correct.
covering backdoor covers. I give me the Bills, who've been playing very well. Give me the Bills just because they're at home. I think they kind of understand the window is kind of
A lot of
closing
people
for them,
think
at
this
least
is
in
the year the
current-
Bills win it all. I've heard it.
Woodley, you
Yeah,
want to make a
generation.
$500 bet at 1 right now with me?
Not really, but I will. I'll do it. I don't
Okay,
feel that
bet.
strong, but I'll do it. Just for fun. I like it, and I think there's something here with Allen. I'm not saying this drives a huge thing, but I think Allen
the MVP
has been
thing.
listening to a lot of things over the past few weeks. Once again, Allen, who should have won the MVP, is going to get robbed from Lamar because for some reason they love playing Jackson in week 18 games where he puts up a bunch of garbage time stats and stuff like that. And it's not really a knock on him. Yeah, they got blown out in week 4. It doesn't matter though. That game is totally meaningless. That game got out of hand early.
Yeah.
Henry caught him by surprise. Teams, they all have 1 or 2 bad games a year.
That's true.
And let's be clear, the Bills didn't look that very good. It didn't look that great at the beginning of the
Yeah.
year. It took them
That's
a
a
while.
good
to
point.
No, they
figure
were
out who
3-0. They were 3-0, and they looked like the best team after 3 weeks. Then they lost
But
2 in a
it's so
row.
early.
Then they lost 2 in a
figured
row.
things out. They've got more weapons in there. It's at home at night. This is a massive, massive game for them. I mean, here's the other thing too.
I think they're
likes to talk
undefeated at
about
home too.
Mike likes to talk about how taking time off is helpful. Well, the Bills have now 2 weeks off too. I know Mike will say that's gonna hurt the offense, but dude, that team is fresh. All right, we saw what a fresh Rams team did.
You say 2
against
weeks
the
off.
Vikings.
Didn't they play a full game against Denver last week?
Yeah, they had 1 week off.
The Bills. I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. That was I'm for
That
some
game
reason,
was
I totally forgot
21.
that game.
That game was 21-7 going to the fourth quarter. So the game was within striking
The
distance.
Denver, yeah, my bad. I don't know why I was thinking that, but they blew them out or whatever, and they look great.
Yeah, they
but
did.
no, listen, it's in Buffalo. give me them by an inch. I think it's gonna be a great game though. But I'll take Buffalo.
I think it's going to be a great game too.
I think this is going to be the game of the weekend. This is Sunday Night Football. They put the best game there. I think it's going to be tight all the way. I put a lot of thought into this, and I think this is going to be such a tight game that I would be leaning towards whoever has home field in this game. I think both places are tough to play. It's going to be cold in Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo's so hard to win at in January. I think that, to me, that's the X factor. I like the Bills, but it's going to be a real close game.
I mean, I don't think Henry's running for 199 on the Bills.
Man,
again,
he looks
especially
good,
on the road.
Man, he ran. I guess
He looked great.
Yeah.
Wow. The number on him last week was over 106 yards.
Is that my
And
food's at the door.
and I saw it. It was maybe it was 110, and I'm like, no, I don't think he can do it. And he just blasted last week. It was really incredible.
I like
to watch.
Henry over in this game too.
Okay, so who's feeling strongly? Like, whose pick is the Rams or the Eagles? It's at -6. Go ahead, Woodley.
I got the I mean, it pains me. You know how much I hate them. I got
You
the
hate the
Eagles, right? I got the Eagles just because
You also hate Philadelphia, Woodley. Why do you hate Philadelphia?
I'm gonna cover that in a second, but I'm gonna go my rant in a second, but I'm gonna give you why I like Philly in this one. I think the Rams, obviously, I don't think the Rams are like that great. First of all, and like it's gonna be the coldest it has been in a couple of years in Philly. It's gonna snow the whole time.
Oh, I didn't know
LA is
that.
an LA team, and they're a dome team, and Stafford. Mike I always have to give Mike crap about this because one time Mike was like going nuts about like the over-under on a Detroit game because he forgot that Detroit played in a dome and there was like a snowstorm.
Oh.
But like Stafford has always played indoors in a dome. Like they're gonna struggle. That's a tough place to play. The LA Rams actually don't have fans.
That's why the line's moving. The weather. Interesting.
So they actually the Rams don't have fans. Like that's gonna be 100% Philly Eagle fans. Now let's get to the real thing we need to talk about, right? So throughout this year, every week I talk about Philly and the fans and how they're scumbags and mutants and all of this. And people say, no, it's a bit much. Well, what happens this week, right? They finally catch a guy on 4K saying just things that I would not, like, I won't repeat here because it's terrible. It's like the one thing you can, well, there's like 3 things you can't say. And it's like one of the 3, right? And it's towards a woman. That Philly fan, like, and Phillies fans like he doesn't represent us. It's like bullshit. He does because there were 20 other. There were 200 other Philly fans right around there, and they didn't do anything. I mean, what that guy was doing was awful. He wasn't just saying it like he was saying in like a threatening manner. All right, so yeah, that guy deserved to be banned for life. I don't know if he deserves to lose his job, but in this social media day of age, like he should know better. Right, like the guy's filming him. Like he should know better that this can come back.
Okay, Woodley, let me for the people at home. The Packers played the Philadelphia, and this woman, this probably really nice girl, was sitting there with her Packers gear on, and this Philadelphia fan was shouting the massive insults to the point where they banned him from the stadium for life. Are you saying he also lost his job?
Yeah, he lost his job. He worked at he was a consultant. It was like this company that does diversity and inclusion. So like, I mean, it's just, I can't make it up, Phil.
You can't make this up.
Cannot
The
make
DEI
it up.
guy was.
Danny, can you load that tweet up for us, Danny, so the audience can see the tweet of the fan? Since
we'll send it. You heavily bleep. I mean, it's terrible, right? And so this story has incredible amount of legs. So you think the thing is over. Well, nope, because anytime something goes on here, and the weird thing about this is this guy posted it to Twitter, and it's her fiance, and he's the one filming it, and he's like, "Oh, you're saying that, and you're kind of like, this is really weird, and like I don't think any of us are like,
dude, this is not South America where people can shoot each other at games. This is not the Premier League where people fight. This is the United States of America, and we're not supposed to go that far.
You're not supposed to go that far, but I was just like, a lot of
I've
people
always
were
felt
like,
comfortable showing up in another stadium with my gear on, but I mean, I don't like that. And now,
but I'm gonna take this. There's 2 more layers of this story real quick. So you see that, and you're like, why is this guy filming this? Like, why is this guy letting him say this to the fiance? And I'm not sitting here like advocating like violence or anything, but like, listen, if that's happening to like a loved one of yours, like a wife, a fiance, or a kid, like you have to go down swinging at that point, right? Like you lose like your man card, you lose everything because that is
but maybe his way of going down swinging was to film the guy and make sure he got banned from life.
Okay. But
he didn't have to get in a physical
layer.
fight. The guy lost his job. I mean, that seems like a lot more than getting into a fight.
But Phil,
that guy won, Woodley.
not so fast, Phil, because you know what? It pops up that this guy that was doing it, he's some small time YouTuber Packers fan, and he put a GoFundMe up saying, "Send me to Philly. I've been to Philly before. I've taken the heat. I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna egg him on." I mean, we'll put up the
didn't know.
GoFundMe. He's like, I'm gonna
Another
go
layer.
on
Oh,
belly to beast.
the guy that whose wife was harassed said that
Yeah,
before the
So
game.
he has a whole GoFundMe where he's from Pennsylvania.
So he probably was
raised
starting
money.
shit with them that he didn't
Well,
record.
that's why. So he's like, I'm gonna go into the belly of the beast. I'm gonna take it. All this forever.
Interesting.
There's
Didn't
a
even
photo of him before the game. He's wearing a like the body cam that police wear, where it's like on your body, and it's like he was wearing one of those at the game, right? Which means he was filming the whole game. So now you're only seeing part of this, all right? Now to be clear,
wow.
what the Philly fan did, you can't do that. I don't care what they told you, you can't do it. But like this Packers fan, all of a sudden, like he's a scumbag as well. And the only victim in this whole story that I feel bad about is the fiance, and she should leave that guy. Like you can't, like the guy put you in danger there, and now he's using you for clicks.
Okay, hold on. Let me just I need to make an announcement right now. March 2nd, I'm coming to Philadelphia. I've never said anything bad about Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's the worst. The people are the
Philadelphia
worst.
sucks.
They treat,
I am
the
going.
people are
Okay,
rude.
listen. I am going to Rivers. Hey, hello, Aria. I am going to the Rivers Casino in Philadelphia. I'm gonna host a big tournament there.
That's a good spot.
Sunday,
That's a
March
good spot.
2nd. Now, knowing Cantu is probably going to follow me out there. It's going to be a really big tournament. And guess what, Woodley? March 1st, Golden State Warriors plays at the Philadelphia 76ers. That's Saturday night. I have floor seats. I'll be on the floor for that game. I'll be hosting this massive thing. I've always liked Philly. I've always been able to walk around Philadelphia. And I love the cheesesteaks. I'm going to bring my son, Philip, with me. And don't be surprised if Jason White makes it, our NASCAR driver friend. Don't be surprised if Cantu makes it. I just had to say my piece. Having said that, who's picking who in this game? This is a tough one for me. I think I have to take the Rams, but I'm a little bit afraid. I just think the Rams, watching their defense, it feels like they were ready to fire everybody. It feels like they were trading. You remember this, Woodley? It was like week 6, 7. They were ready to trade Puka Nacua.
It was week
later,
week
right?
5. It was 4 or
It was
5.
going
They were
into
like
the game
1-3.
against the Frisco when they
Minnesota.
were down when they were 1-4 and they got the miracle win over Frisco, right?
They just lost.
yeah.
They were going into against
the
Minnesota.
Minnesota game coming off the Detroit game. Yeah, the Thursday night game.
And they beat them.
Correct.
That was the big thing. There was actually like people in the Minnesota media that were like, "Oh, they should trade for Stafford." Like if
Right,
Minnesota
they were going to
beat
trade
the Rams.
LA was talking about trading 3 of their biggest pieces, and then they won that game. They won another game. It feels like they're peaking at the right time. They're
Yeah,
coming
and
together, they're coming together. I'm going with the Rams. I'm taking the 6 points. I know it's going to be
6.5.
nasty in
6.5.
Philadelphia. I'm taking it. 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah, and listen,
Even
you
better.
Buy it up to 7 and lay $1.25. Hey, listen, I'm gonna go. This is a very interesting game. You know, I know I went total on the Washington game, and I don't want to go total again, but I am gonna. But I'm going to mention this. It's very important to mention this. Okay, this is. Okay, like I'm going to probably make a bet on the under 44 in this game, especially knowing what the weather's going to be like.
What is
Hurts
the weather, Mike?
coming off,
What is the weather? Let us know.
Well, he just said it's going to be very cold and snowy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Cold as it's been on that date in like 3-4 years.
Okay,
Snowy at game time.
but here, let's go look at the Rams. The last 4 out of 5 games, they have allowed 9 points to the Vikings. We don't count weeks. They rested everyone week 18. They allowed 9 points to the Cardinals the week before that. They allowed 9 points to the Jets the week before that. And they allowed 6 points to the Niners the week before that. They have given up in 4 weeks 6, 9, 15, 23, 32 points in 4 fucking weeks. Okay?
Wow.
And the Philadelphia Eagles, Hurts looked so bad last week. And you saw what the Rams did against Jones. They shut him completely down yesterday. Their run defense. So they not only they shut down Connor against Arizona in that game to really lock up the division. 13-9. Connor had like 40 yards rushing, if I'm not mistaken, maybe less. Right? They shut down
Really?
Jones. They shut down the Jets running back, giving up 9, and then they shut down the Niners, and Frisco got 3 on the first possession of the game, and they ended up with a 3 at the end of the game. It was like 6-3 late in the game. This defense is great, and it's going to be cold. I'm going to take the 6.5 and the under. But like, I really like the under a lot more than I like the side.
All right, this is my number 2 pick right here. I love the Rams. Love, love, love. I checked the weather forecast. It's supposed to be 37 degrees, snow likely. It's not that cold, but still the snow's gonna play like a wacky.
Cantu, maybe wind chill factor. Continue.
Yeah, I didn't check the wind chill. That's a good idea.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really cold. They came out today, and I'm gonna do this because you've done this to me like 5 times. So I'm the weatherman today. They said it's primed to be as cold, and there's a movement coming in too where like it's gonna either hit Sunday or Monday. Like it's gonna be in the low teens. All right. So
anyways, well, thank you for the weather update. 37 degrees, maybe windy. Anyways, I love the Rams. The Rams are red hot. I think they're the scariest team. Like on paper, it's supposed to look like, oh, the Eagles are supposed to roll them here. That's just not gonna. I'd be real surprised if they get rolled.
They got the two best defenses, the Rams and the Eagles.
They're playing the best football of the year for them. This is not the time to play them. I like them to win outright. This is my another. I think we have a couple big upsets, maybe coming this week. I like this. I like the Rams. Those receivers are so good for the Rams, and Stafford looks so comfortable with them, and they're playing both sides of the ball. They're playing good defense. I know that the Eagles have been playing good. I got a feeling.
I do too, man. I just think like everything that's going on in California with the wildfires, like if you listen to them before the game, right? This is why I like the Rams against the Vikings. And of course, words don't mean matter, but like Sean McVay said, I am going to work my ass off to set up a game plan to find a way for this team to win.
The Chargers are from LA too, and they
But
lost.
I just told you the Chargers are fucking 2-6 against winning teams, and their only 2 wins were against Denver, and the only winning team they beat was fucking what was Tampa Bay in a bad spot.
Mike, I hear you that you're saying they want to play for. I will tell you this. I agree with this.
They're bringing it. They're bringing it, and they got a better coach.
is a hell of a coach.
A better coach. He's a better coach.
Oh my God, the way he has everybody scheming, and I mean, you talk about the best schemer in the league.
It's going to be a low.
It's got to be
game.
McVay.
Yeah.
He has counter, like these plays that are counter, and he throws it back, and they go for 20 yards risk-free on screens. It's just been so much fun, and Stafford is just such a complete quarterback. Now, and you know,
they did beat him 37-20 in LA, like in week 8 or week 12. I mean, but like again, McVay, who does better than anybody at McVay when he loses to a certain team? He is so good at realizing the weaknesses and the adjustments they have to make.
I think McVay's a genius. I really do.
Stafford is 1-6 in his career in rain or snow, and he is 2-8 with the weather freezing or
okay, that scares me, Woodley.
That's
I was going to say that too.
That's why this line is moved.
The only thing I'm afraid of is Stafford gets a little too cold and can't perform.
I love the under.
I think he's going to find a way to perform.
I like the under too.
Dude, that Eagles team is that Eagles team is good. I mean, I think that's everybody's like.
I've been saying it all year. They're the best fucking team in the NFC.
Well, and of course, Mike, who says they're the best team, he goes against them.
No,
it's
but I also
Woodley, let me ask you a question.
I
Woodley,
also said
question.
if the Rams got healthy, I never in a million years thought this Rams defense could be the number 1 defense in the NFL the last 6 weeks of the year. I mean, they have been unbelievable.
They didn't play
Mike,
anybody.
2 things, Mike. One,
That's
one. Who was it? One of us liked the Rams to win the Super Bowl at 45-1 last week. That was a good.
That
pick.
was me.
It's 22-1 now.
That. Yeah.
It's 22
That
to
was
1
huge.
now.
That's a good
We
call.
all agreed.
Yeah.
What is it now? 21 to 1?
22 to 1. 22
Yeah,
to
I think
1.
you can get a better line, like Mike's saying. I still like him.
I was
Number
offered
2.
I got offered.
And Mike, whatever your favorite pick is on the podcast, the one that you advocated and spent all this time for sure that team's going to win, and for sure you're going to find a way to bet the other side.
I'm definitely betting the over in the Washington game. That was my number 1 pick.
But nobody, it's funny. I spend all the time talking about the Rams and like the weather, but like the Eagles, I hate to admit it, that's a really good team. And then like they made a big deal about AJ Brown not getting the ball because he didn't need to. But like again, like it's gonna be like last time, like when there's a little bit of AJ Brown trouble, Well, here's one to throw at you, right? AJ Brown first touchdown, because like they did that last game where it's like, oh, he just not getting the ball enough, so they force feed it a couple times on the first drive to him. Dude, Barkley's incredible. Barkley can play in this weather. If it's dude, it hurts too. I mean, listen, if it's bad weather, like that helps the Eagles so much.
Woodley,
like,
let me ask you a question,
Woodley, and Hurts. You can't.
Woodley, how do you like
Hurts
having Brown on your team?
I mean, he's a great player, but he's a fucking whiny.
He's reading books. He's talking about he's not getting the ball enough. He feels a little bit. I think I'm going to say he's insolent, a little insolent.
He's a top 5 wide
receiver. He's a little bit of a
receiver.
distraction.
I don't think he's one of these guys that like divides the locker room. I think he's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he's just
Who reads a book? Who brings a book out to the fucking on the locker room? That like
Now
who
you
even has a book on the sideline? Hey, I think I'll read a book.
Feel like book guys, you know.
Did you see that book is up like 5 million% is number one seller on Amazon?
I don't even know what
like,
it's
literally
called.
changed this guy's life.
That's
I don't
funny.
either, because I don't base my books on what fucking AJ Brown's reading. And
Right.
like the number of people, like all the Eagle fans. Okay, here's
This is the world's
over-under for
number
you.
one book, Woodley. Positivity.
I
All
thought
right,
you were
8
gonna
life
pull out
tips.
that. I thought you should give it to AJ Brown and have him open it. Phil, you know enough NFL players. Like fucking Steph Curry should be reading that. Come on, man. You could give him a kickback.
There are a lot of really smart NFL players, and what you realize, a lot of these linemen, offensive linemen, and you know who's been playing poker a lot is who's the guy from Miami, the lineman, Mike?
Miami.
We love him in the poker world, and he's played in a lot of he's just been a really fun guy. He's been and he's being paid a fortune right now. He's one of the best linemen in the league.
So I have a question though about this book, right? So it's up, 5 million%. Eagle fans are buying it everywhere. What's the percentage of Eagle fans that have
Ever
bought
read
this
a book?
that actually haven't actually read a book in the last 25 years?
Correct.
Or read a book that doesn't have 50%
over
pictures on it.
50%, over
It has to be
50%.
95%. It
Yeah.
has to be 95%.
Woodley,
because Eagle
not
fans can't
only
read.
do you hate Philadelphia, you also hate the Kelsey brothers. I saw their podcast. I only watched
Buddy,
5
the
minutes.
fucking his wife, Jason Kelsey's wife, had the number one podcast in the world last week.
They
are
are
you kidding
so
me?
much. I love the Kelsey. They are so smart. They're so much fun to watch, and they have a lot of charisma. So I know you hate everything related to Philadelphia.
I hate
All right,
Philly.
guys.
One second.
I
That
like
story's
Rivers.
even
I
funnier. I
like-
just
I
have
like-
to add
I
one
like
last thing
Rivers.
to that.
I like Rivers though, Mike or Phil. I like Rivers and I like Live. I actually have a lot of honestly, I have a lot of friends.
Woodley,
that are in Philly.
Woodley, how much money? How about this? I'm going to be in Philly playing this tournament. I bet there's a decent chance you'll show up and play this tournament. Then what happens?
Yep.
What if somebody's going to beat you up?
No, because I actually have a lot of friends in Philly, like our biggest advisor for speed survivors in Philly. But the thing about those friends is we give it to each other back and forth because they know that that fan base is scum. But
Oh my
I like
God.
Rivers, I like Live. I booked a hotel room, a non-refundable at Live that I can't use now because I'm not going to that game now. So
Cantu,
I
what
go
do you
to
got,
Philly
Story's
a lot.
even funnier. AJ Brown was reading the book during the game. He was reading. It wasn't on the side.
Yeah.
I think you guys were saying in the locker room. He was reading during the
Yeah,
game.
during
and
the game.
And the
No,
book,
it was during the
book
game.
is
Yeah,
called
yeah.
Inner Excellence. So maybe we'll put it up even more.
Well,
He was working on his.
that's a good name for a book.
Okay, guys. So let's talk about one more thing for our viewers here. We're going to stay with this podcast through the Super Bowl, and then it looks like we're all planning on staying to do some other stuff. Woodley, what are we going to do? We're going to do the March Madness for sure. That's going to be fun. What else we got in there?
We'll do March Madness. We'll do obviously after the Super Bowl we can do the wrap up. March Madness.
I like the
and then
NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs are going to be fun.
Really good.
March Madness.
So
March
What about the
Madness,
Masters?
NFL
What
draft,
about the
NFL free
Masters?
agency.
We do the Masters?
Yeah,
we
we
could do the Masters.
Woodley wrote the
We could do-
Masters in the schedule. Yeah. Okay, before we end this podcast, I'm going to give everybody a quick, because we have to end the next couple minutes. Cantu, anything to say or no?
Nope.
Okay, guys, I think
Guys,
this
one
is a
more
great
thing.
podcast.
One more thing I want to say before we go off. We
Mike,
have
go
8
ahead.
teams left. Everybody give out their Super Bowl predictions with 8 teams left. Let's see how
this is
good
good.
we are.
Chiefs.
Chiefs and who?
Verse.
Chiefs and who?
Good question. Chiefs, Ravens. Oh, sorry. Yeah. No. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm
Go ahead,
going
Cantu.
Chiefs, And obviously it's
Chiefs,
alongside
Rams.
Chiefs
Yeah.
Rams is what I'm going with.
I'll do it too.
Wow, Phil and I are aligning. What outside pick there?
I'm going. It's hard to go against the Chiefs.
It's such an easy route. Like
I'm on them. I'm rooting heavily for the Bills to win it all.
Okay,
Like,
Danny, I have to go.
Alright.
I have to go to the front door. They can keep talking. You can keep recording,
So
but I got to go to the
Chiefs-
front door.
Chiefs, Eagles, and they're gonna run back what was an awesome Super Bowl like 2 years ago. Chiefs, Eagles, but I think the Chiefs come in and beat the Eagles by like 20 to 6.
And I'm going to go with my original pick before the season, which was Ravens and Detroit, with Ravens winning.